Have you ever wondered what good could possibly come from a disaster as monumental as the sinking of the Titanic? It's a story of immense loss, of what-ifs and if-onlys. But buried beneath the tragedy is a powerful legacy of change. A story of how one night of horror revolutionized safety on the high seas forever. Today, we are not just revisiting the past, we're uncovering how the lessons learned from the Titanic are still saving lives over a century later. On that fateful night, in April 1912, the RMS Titanic, the pinnacle of luxury and technology, slipped beneath the icy waves of the North Atlantic. Over 1,500 souls were lost. The world was in shock. How could the unsinkable ship meet such a swift and devastating end? The inquiries that followed in both the United States and Great Britain were relentless. They picked apart every decision, every design flaw, and every outdated regulation. And what they discovered would echo through the halls of maritime law for generations. One of the most heart-wrenching realities of the disaster was the lifeboat situation. The Titanic actually carried more lifeboats than was legally required at the time. But even so, there was only enough space for about half the people on board. The regulations were based on the ship's tonnage, not its passenger capacity, a rule that was hopelessly outdated for a vessel of Titanic's size. The image of lifeboats launching half empty while people froze in the water was a brutal wake-up call. Within just 2 years, the world responded. The first International Convention for the Safety of Life at Sea, or SOLAS, was held in 1914. This was a landmark event. For the first time, nations came together to create a unified code of safety for all ships. The most immediate and famous change, the lifeboats for all rule. It mandated that every ship must carry enough lifeboat space for every single person on board, both passengers and crew. No more would a person's chance of survival depend on a flawed calculation. This single change, born from the Titanic's loss, has undoubtedly saved countless lives in the decades since. But the lifeboats were just the beginning. The inquiries also revealed a cascade of communication failures. The Titanic's wireless operators, employed by the Marconi Company, were primarily focused on sending private passenger messagista, Instagram DR. They had received multiple ice warnings from other ships. But some of these crucial messages never even made it to the bridge. The radio room was not considered an essential 24/7 safety operation. Think about that for a moment. The technology to avert the disaster existed, but the procedures didn't. This led to another critical reform. The Radio Act of 1912 and subsequent SOLAS conventions mandated that radio communications on large ships be operated 24 hours a day. A continuous watch was now required. Furthermore, it established a hierarchy of messages, ensuring that distress signals and safety warnings always took absolute priority over non-essential traffic. The familiar distress call, SOS, became the international standard, a direct result of the confusion that night. Then there was the ice itself. The Titanic was sailing full steam ahead through a known ice. The lookouts in the crow's nest didn't even have binoculars, which were reportedly locked in a cabinet for which the key was missing. This lack of vigilance seems unthinkable today. And that's because the Titanic changed the rules. In the wake of the disaster, the International Ice Patrol was established in 1914, operated by the U.S. Coast Guard. Its mission is to monitor the presence of icebergs in the North Atlantic and report their movements to the maritime community. For over 100 years, the Ice Patrol has guarded these shipping lanes, and not a single ship that has heeded its warnings has ever collided with an iceberg. It is a perfect safety record, a constant, silent tribute to the victims of the Titanic. The disaster also forced a complete rethink of ship design and emergency procedures. The idea of watertight compartments was supposed to make the Titanic unsinkable. The ship could supposedly stay afloat even if 4 of its 16 compartments flooded. But the iceberg sliced through 5. A fatal flaw was that the walls separating these compartments didn't reach high enough. As the bow dipped, water spilled over the top of one bulkhead into the next, like water filling an ice cube tray. Modern shipbuilding regulations now demand much more robust and intelligently designed compartment systems. Furthermore, the chaos of the evacuation highlighted a total lack of preparation. There had been no lifeboat drills for the passengers. The crew themselves had only a minimal, haphazard drill. Today, mandatory safety briefings and lifeboat drills for all passengers before a ship leaves port are standard procedure. When you re-on a cruise and you have to go get your life jacket and muster at your assigned station, you are participating in a direct legacy of the Titanic. It's a procedure written in the ink of tragedy. So, when we look back at the Titanic, it's easy to get lost in the romance and the drama of the film, or the sheer scale of the loss. But it's true. Lasting impact is all around us, embedded in the very fabric of modern maritime safety. Every time a ship safely navigates icy waters, every time a passenger knows exactly where to go in an emergency, every time a distress call is answered immediately, the echoes of 1912 are there. The 1,500 people who perished did not die in vain. Their loss served as a catalyst, forcing a complacent world to confront the realities of progress and the human cost of hubris. They sparked a revolution that has made the seas infinitely safer for everyone. The Titanic is more than just a shipwreck. It's a permanent lesson in humility and a testament to our ability to learn from our most profound failures. It's a story that reminds us that safety regulations are not just red tape. They are rules written in sacrifice, designed to ensure that such a catastrophe never happens again. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey into the legacy of the Titanic. If you found this story as fascinating as I do, please hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into history. Let me know in the comments what other historical events you'd like to explore. Until next time, stay curious.